sorry, what's that? You're done talking about Cyberpunk? Well, you don't want to talk about the memes and the glitches and what's going on now? Alright, well, we'll just sit here in silence then. If that's what you want. We all know that Cyberpunk has been trying its very best to repair the brand and repair the game. Let's be real here. Okay, it has been an absolute disaster. But today we actually got some information as actual figures have come in for the refunds and also the sales figures for the first 21 days.
Well, looks like fortune favors the stupid too. Now what?
I'm gonna ask for a refund.
What did you say?
Let's get into it. There's a lot to get through. Someone call? No, no one's calling me. I thought someone was calling me. Let's get into it. We're gonna leave that in. All this and more after the drop. Okay, Cyberpunk backstory, blah blah blah. You know what's going on, but quickly. Came out December 10th. Terrible launch, and on top of this bad launch and murky PR campaign and restricted review access and embargoes, Sony took it down from the store, and it's just been a huge mess, and I think we all know that, so that's all we're going to do in terms of an actual backstory. But one thing I will say, as the months have gone on, this problem has not gone away for CD Projekt Red. It has been, by far, the worst launch that they've ever experienced, and I would kind of say one of the worst launches in gaming history. But after knowing that Cyberpunk 2077 had sold extremely well, and it had been reported it was roughly in the vicinity of 13 million copies, CD Projekt Red went to Twitter today to cement those figures, especially at the end of 2020. They said that they had sold 13.7 million units of Cyberpunk 2077 by the end of 2020. And if I get my calculator out to do a rough calculation from the release date on the 10th to the end of the month, let me just figure this out. 420 minus 69 minus 330, that's 21 days, everybody. 21 days. 21 days it took for Cyberpunk 2077 to sell 13.7 million copies. For comparison, since it was a huge celebration for Sony when Spider-Man came out in 2018, one of their greatest selling exclusive games of all time for PS4, it took 11 months for Spider-Man in 2018 to get to 13.2 million copies sold. So what this says is all the marketing, all the hype, all the murky PR marketing crap we saw from CD Projekt Red, not to mention all the goodwill that they have had for many years, all paid off on that day, or it all paid off in those first 21 days because they made bank. But of course, let's not forget, it has pretty much completely destroyed their reputation with a lot of people. But to break down the sales, it shows in terms of sales by platform, PC led the way with 56% of sales, or 7.67 million copies. PS4 came in at 28%, or 3.84 million, while Xbox One rounded out the group with 17% of sales, as shared by CD Projekt Red and relayed by analyst Daniel Arman. Let's be real, we kind of knew that Xbox was going to be the smallest percentage. We knew that. I also knew that PC was probably going to make the majority of that percentage up. A lot of people, of course, if they have a really good rig, they want to be able to experience ray tracing, especially because it was the crossover time for new consoles coming out. No surprises there that the PS4 had the hefty chunk of sales on console. There are over 100 million out in the wild. But the funny thing is, when they did announce that they were offering refunds and took it off the store, I thought that refunds would be really bad for CD Projekt Red. It turns out they're actually not that bad at all. In a post-earnings call, CD Projekt Red management confirmed it processed 30,000 refunds. In total, CD Projekt Red said it spent around 2.23 million US dollars for its Help Me Refund program, according to GI.biz. 30,000? Legit, I was pretty surprised at that. I thought it'd be a lot higher than 30,000. Let's get the calculator out again. We've done the joke already, okay? We're not going to do it again. It comes out to be roughly 0.22% of the total amount of the 13.7 million, at least sold in December for those first 21 days. And we've got to remember that's predominantly where a lot of those refunds would have been processed in terms of that time window, because that's when it was all happening and all the announcements was coming from PlayStation and of course directly from CD Projekt Red when they posted on Twitter apologizing and also offering refunds. And in terms of the calculation, just keep in mind we're talking about the 30,000 units compared to the 13.7 million copies. We're not necessarily talking about how much they needed to put into the Help Me Refund program, but the figures alone from the copies. But because we saw such an eruption on Twitter and Reddit, I really thought that more people would take them up on their offer. Because let's be real, a lot of people got burnt on this, and they feel angry at CD Projekt Red, and rightfully so. They totally should be. So I guess the people that didn't in fact get their refund fall into a few camps here. Number one, they just thought it was going to be all a bit hard to get the refund, they couldn't be bothered. Number two, regardless of the bugs, they were still enjoying it. Or third, this is the big one, they actually had faith in CD Projekt Red that they would fix the game, and they were happy to wait for the game to be actually fixed. They're happy to hold on to their copy, then they would play it when it's actually playable on base consoles or just playable in general. And just on a side note, I've actually started playing Cyberpunk 2077 again, but I'm actually playing on my Xbox Series X now. I have still encountered a couple of bugs, nowhere near as bad as it was, but I can't make any judgment calls yet because I haven't played it long enough and all that. But I think a lot of people are falling into that camp that they just hope that it's going to be fixed in the future and they will return to it because they've already purchased it when it's actually ready to play. But here's another thing. What if CD Projekt Red looked at only the 0.22% or whatever they actually lost in refunds and thought, guys, boardroom, this worked perfectly. Let's do this again. Let's bring out a game, marketing campaign, very strict review embargo, okay, and it's a buggy mess. It doesn't matter. We'll still sell 13.7 million copies in the first 21 days. And all that'll happen is we may get 0.22% of people wanting to actually refund their game. That's a possibility, but I honestly think, all jokes aside, that CD Projekt Red not going to do that again. I really think that they've completely tarnished their brand. They know this, and it's a slippery slope. It's a very dangerous environment to be in, where they want to bring out their next game and do this all again, be publicly humiliated, offer refunds, and just look like, if we're being honest, the laughing stock of the gaming industry for at least those couple of weeks after launch. They've completely lost so much brand power, so much goodwill with the actual audience. I don't think that these small refund figures are going to influence their decisions in the future in terms of thinking they can get away with it again. I do think they're going to work on this game like they've said and hopefully get it to a stage where it's very playable. After all, they did say that they want to try and sell Cyberpunk for years to come. Don't worry about actually fixing it for the current consumer. It's all about hopefully selling it to new people, to new suckers in the future.
Oh, there's something wrong with what my Stacy says.
Give me your fucking money!
Alright guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love you, appreciate you. I will see you probably tomorrow if there's more news. If not, have a great weekend. And again, I always appreciate you guys watching it. Laymen out! I don't know why I looked at him, but Laymen out!